Hi there and welcome to Juicy Celeb Talks. When Teresa Giudice is asked about the possibility of ending her long-standing feud with Melissa Gorga, she doesn't hold back. Teresa bluntly states that the show could go on without it, but that's not all she has to say. She dives into whether she'd ever reconcile with Wakile and Rosie Pierri, dishes on Tamra Judge's behavior, and reveals why she skipped Dolores Catania's big event. And if you think that's juicy, wait until you hear where things stand between her and Joe Giudice's family, along with her surprising connection with Victoria Gotti. Additionally, Tamra Judge claps back at fans who are calling for her to be fired from the Real Housewives of Orange County. This episode is packed with drama you won't want to miss. The feud with Melissa Gorga. There's always some juicy gossip swirling around the Real Housewives of New Jersey, especially with the show currently on hiatus. The latest rumor claims that Melissa Gorga and Teresa Giudice have finally ended their years-long feud. Can you believe it? But before you get too excited, let's take this with a grain of salt. It's a rumor with zero credibility. I mean, pigs aren't flying just yet, right? These two women have made it crystal clear that they have no interest in playing nice. Insiders say Teresa wants absolutely nothing to do with Melissa or her brother, Joe Gorga. Fans are desperate for the show to return to its glory days, but it seems the network is struggling to figure out who's staying and who's getting the boot. Even Andy Cohen admitted they're taking their time deciding the future of the franchise. If you thought Teresa and Melissa might finally be ready to bury the hatchet for the sake of the show, think again. The gossip about them putting their fiery feud on hold is just that talk. These two have no plans to become best friends anytime soon. Family drama and Dolores Catania's event in the spring of 2022, after Teresa and Melissa's confrontation with Laura, Teresa made it clear that she had no interest in speaking to her former friend. She refuted Melissa's claims, saying, "You're lying, you didn't prove me wrong." The tension between the two was palpable, with both women standing their ground. Meanwhile, Frank Catania opened up about his children's feelings towards the show during a visit on the Lisa Winged podcast in August 2024. He revealed that his daughter, Gabriella, has zero interest in being in the spotlight, only appearing on the show when Dolores practically drags her on screen. Frank Jr., who used to be more involved, has now decided to leave his reality TV days behind as he's focusing on his career in finance. Being on Wall Street, any publicity is bad publicity, Frank explained, making it clear that his son is done with the show. It seems the reunion show last season didn't sit well with Frank Jr. Either he was likely upset that his work with Teresa Giudice's husband, Luis Ruelas, was dragged into the mix. Across all the franchises, Teresa is probably the most recognizable housewife in the world. She's heard the same rumors as everyone else that she's being asked to leave rather than being fired, and it's changed her perspective. While she acknowledges that Teresa has changed since Luis came into the picture, it's a shame because the Teresa she knew is no longer there. She's just not herself, Frank reflected, noting that this isn't the Teresa he grew up with. Teresa's reflection on family and friendships. Despite the ongoing drama, Frank Catania couldn't be prouder of his kids. Gabriella is a veterinarian, and Frank Jr. is thriving on Wall Street. Frank even gave props to Dolores for keeping the family close despite their split. It's family first, reality TV second for the Catanias, Frank emphasized, and honestly, we're here for it. Teresa also opened up about her relationship with her bizarre cousins, the continuous shade from Tamra Judge, and where she stands with Joe Giudice's family. During the August 22 episode of the About This podcast, Teresa got real about whether she'd ever reconcile with Kathy Wakile and Rosie Pierri. Spoiler alert, it's a no from Teresa, but she wishes them well, saying, "I haven't seen them in a long time, but I'd say hello if I did." She still has a soft spot for Kathy's kids, especially since they grew up with her own daughters. Sure, her delivery might be harsh, but that's just who Tamra is. Tamra also opened up about her ongoing feud with Shannon Beater, which has been brewing all season. She's been hard on Shannon about her drinking, especially after her messy DUI last year. "Do you not think she has a drinking problem?" "Yeah, I do. I don't drink anymore," Tamra stated. Others may have a different narrative about her, but Tamra insists she's just being honest. "When you're desperate and you go crazy, you can really hurt yourself," she added, noting that her concern for Shannon comes from a genuine place. But Shannon isn't seeing it that way. The tension between them is thick enough to cut with a knife, and it's hard to imagine these two ever mending fences. Shannon fired back, accusing Tamra of always having an issue with her and even trying to label her as an alcoholic. "Tamra's trying to control my life, and things are getting ugly," Shannon declared. "With friendships like these, who needs enemies?" Joe Gorga finds himself in hot water once again, and this time it's all because of a jaw-dropping joke he made about none other than Dolores Catania. "Seriously, Joe, what were you thinking?" Clips from his current comedy act are making the rounds, and people are absolutely losing it over his crude remarks. The Jersey husbands have always been a hit with fans, but this time Joe might have taken things a bit too far. During his performance, Joe took a jab at the Real Housewives of New Jersey ladies, joking about what's real and what's not. "Is it real? Is it real? Yeah, sorry, it's all real," he quipped before launching into a cringeworthy comment about Dolores. "Even the dessert thanks to Dolores," he added, which left fans stunned. On X, formerly known as Twitter, fans weren't having it, with some calling him disgusting and others suggesting Melissa should just leave him. Despite the backlash, Joe and his crew, including Frank Catania, Joe Bonino, and John Fuda, still managed to draw a decent crowd in Atlantic City. Some fans even left glowing reviews on Instagram, proving that no matter what, these Jersey boys know how to keep people talking.
As for Tamra, Teresa's had enough of the shade from the rock star. "I get it, but stop already. I don't talk expletive about her," Teresa jested. "And don't think she skipped Dolores Catania's charity softball game out of spite. Teresa was vacationing in Turkey with Jennifer Aydin, otherwise, she would have been there cheering Dolores on." When it comes to Joe Giudice's family, Teresa is in a good place with them, even after their separation and Joe's deportation. They've kept things sweet and steady, and Teresa is grateful for that. Her husband, Luis Ruelas, is even getting involved in the family fun during holidays, which is just adorable. Oh, and Victoria Gotti? Teresa is still cool with her despite missing her wedding, so no hard feelings there. Tamra Judge is no stranger to drama, but now even her own fans are calling for her to be fired. On the latest episode of her podcast, Two Teas in a Pod, Tamra spilled the tea on how Real Housewives of Orange County fans have turned on her. After begging for her return to the show, they now want her gone, labeling her as mean. But Tamra isn't backing down. She claims she's just being a truth teller and asks, who doesn't love a little brutal honesty?